Hey everyone, I'm Caitlin and welcome to another video. Today I have a little quick short video for you. It's a book haul because I have very little self-control and I went to Barnes & Noble. The first two books I got were of course Royal Assassin and Assassin's Quest. The next two books in the Farseer trilogy, I have just finished Assassin's Apprentice and I ended up loving it, so I wanted to make sure that I was ready to just hop right into the next few entries in the series. As I said in my February Reads video, Assassin's Apprentice and the whole Farseer trilogy is about Fitz, a young boy who finds out he is the bastard son of a prince meant to be king. Unfortunately, a wrench gets thrown in that plan completely and he moves into the royal keep in order to become an assassin for the king. This series is so good. I love Robin Hobb's writing. She is a new author for me and I didn't know how much I would like her, but Peruse Project, which is one of my favorite booktubers, highly recommended this series and the author as a whole, so I decided I would give it a shot. The next book I picked up was Carrie by Stephen King. While I have read it and The Shining, I have actually never read Carrie, and I know that a lot of people stand by it being one of his best works, so I made sure to pick up a copy while I was there. Also, you know, I need some horror reads every now and then, and I love Stephen King's writing, so let's go ahead and try it out, shall we? I don't think I need to explain the plot of Carrie. I feel like it's a very popular book and movie, but just in case you haven't heard of Stephen King and been living under a rock, this is a horror book about a girl who is outcast and is coming of age, but with a twist. She has powers beyond her control, she's living with her mother, and is getting abused like a lot. Either way, that is Carrie. There are maybe a million remakes of Carrie, so you could definitely check it out there if you're not so sure about actually launching into a horror book. But Stephen King is an amazing writer. He's prolific for a reason. So yeah, I'm really excited to read Carrie finally. I'm kind of surprised I haven't. And I also have Pet Sematary on my list, but I already owned that one. So those are my two little Stephen King reads I'm planning soon. The next book I picked up is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman. I have heard that this book is supposed to make you absolutely sob your eyes out, crying on the floor in a very ugly fashion. And what can I say? That really just seemed like a good Friday night for me, so I picked it up. I would love to tell you anything about this book, but I absolutely am going in blind to this. All I know is that Murphy Napier, who is another booktuber I love, was absolutely floored by this book, and Frederick Bachman is one of her favorite authors. So yeah, I decided to pick this one up. It's very short, it's a little novella, and hey, it'll pad my reading goal for this year, so I am not complaining even in the slightest. I am super excited to just be a mess after this book is done. Maybe I'll record a little something and put it on Instagram so you can just see my face being a mess. The next book I picked up is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab as her other moniker is. I have had A Darker Shade of Magic on my TBR forever, but I figured I would want to just grab one other option real quick, and I've heard people really like this book. It's her YA series. There's no such thing as safe in a city full of monsters. August Flynn wants to be human. Kate Harker wants to be ruthless. Their souls are in danger, the city is divided, and Kate and August, the only two who see both sides, are the only ones who can save it. But how do you decide to be a hero or a villain when it's hard to tell which is which? So I read the back of this book a few times before, but it sounds so good, and I love morally gray characters and not really knowing right from wrong, so this kind of seems right up my alley. I know this has a fairly strong following with it too, and I do like the writing style of V.E. Schwab, so I'm excited to check this one out. Plus, it was on sale, so like, you know, get a little deal in while I'm shopping, right? It helps. And it basically canceled out the amount of books I got. The next book that I picked up is Dreadnation by Justin Ireland, and I was kind of very much intrigued by the back of this book. I loved the cover. I thought it looked so cool, and it kind of gave me BioShock Infinite vibes, which is an amazing video game series. And let's be honest, that's part of the reason why I picked it up, probably a larger part than I would admit. Anyway, it's about if the dead started walking again after Gettysburg, and it sounds so interesting, and I am super stoked to try it out. I really don't know that much about it going in. I just know that it looked cool, so I haven't even looked up any reviews on this, and I have no idea what its Goodreads rating is, which is kind of unheard of. I usually go into every book with at least a Goodreads rating in my mind. But no, this one I know nothing about. I guess I will let you guys know because I didn't hear anything about this. I'm sure other people have, but I haven't. So if you haven't, I'll get a review going for you and we can learn about this book together. Also, yeah, see? Deal. We love the deals. We're coupon cutters at heart. The next book I picked up was Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Brent. I want to make sure that I'm starting to branch out of my comfortable fantasy sci-fi little hole in my heart and start looking at other kinds of books and other genres. So this is my true crime / non-fiction book, my first one of March. I'm kind of planning on reading at least 1 or 2 throughout every month here, so I'm really excited about this one. This is about a murder that happens in Savannah, Georgia, with a town full of quirky individuals who all seem a little shifty and trying to get to the bottom of it. It sounds super interesting, and seeing as I'm not someone who usually reads nonfiction, the fact that this reads very narrative-like is kind of a plus in my category, and I'm hoping that through this I can start to kind of look into more nonfiction and have it be like an entry into the genre. Also, this cover is so pretty. Like, it looks so good. I don't know, it's something about the black and white photo with the really bright orange text and like the composition. I don't know, it just looks so good. I was actually really surprised. I was like, I knew it was on my list that I wanted to try it out, but like, man, I'm just like loving the cover for some reason. The last book I picked up is Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This is basically a YA novel with all of those regular tropes, a badass female protagonist kind of thing, but make it Viking. And it sounds dope. And I actually haven't read a lot of Norse mythology in my books and in my reading. I usually stick towards like UK and Irish mythology, American mythology, and I actually just branched out with Mexican mythology and Gods of Jade and Shadow. Obviously Greek mythology with like Percy Jackson and other such things. This is my first Norse mythology. I have a list, I can't say that. Oh, that's bad. Norse mythology. So this is my first Norse mythology book that I'm going to be kind of diving into. Anyway, I'm super stoked for that book and the Viking warrior kind of battle sequences that I'm sure are going to happen. All right, that is it for my book haul. I am super excited to dive into these, whether it be March or April. I'm sure we'll get to them eventually. Unfortunately, I just keep buying books instead of reading the ones I already have and then buying more on Kindle. And it's a never-ending cycle of just awful coping mechanisms and escapism. So that's it, guys. If there were any books on my haul that you love or you're super excited to read yourself, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.